So, what if the Big Bang wasn't a bang at all, but a thought? Today we're going to dive into a book called Co-Creation by Vladimir Megre. And it's all about this incredible encounter the author had with a woman deep in the Siberian wilderness. A woman who claims humanity has forgotten its most powerful ability, the science of creation itself.
I exist for those for whom I exist. This is like the very first thing we hear from ANASTASIA, the book's central figure. It's a bit of a riddle, right? And it perfectly captures her whole philosophy. It's this idea that reality isn't some fixed, solid thing. It's actually shaped by our belief and our perception. So let's see what she means by that.
So where did these radical ideas come from? Well, not from a university or some high-tech lab, but from the Siberian taiga of all places. The author, an entrepreneur named Vladimir Megre, says he met Anastasia there during an expedition. He describes this woman living completely alone, in perfect harmony with nature, and she has this knowledge that just seems to flip modern science completely on its head.
So, in our explainer today, we're going to unpack three of Anastasia's core ideas. First, her absolutely mind-bending story of creation. Second, what she says was the single wrong turn humanity took. And finally, the forgotten secret science she believes we can all use to get back on track.
Okay, so the big idea here, the central theme of the whole book, is co-creation. Anastasia's view is that creation isn't some finished event that happened billions of years ago. Nope, it's an ongoing process, and we, humanity, were designed to be key partners in it. And the takeaway here is actually pretty simple, but wow, is it profound. We aren't just living in the universe, we are actively helping to create it. All right, so let's dive right into her version of the beginning. And I mean, forget everything you think you know about the Big Bang. This story starts in a universe that was made of pure energy and thought, way before a single atom of physical matter even existed. So Anastasia starts by asking us to just picture this state before any physical matter existed. The universe was like a sea of countless, self-aware energies, but they were all just floating in darkness without any real purpose or direction. And then, bam! In a single instant, all these scattered energies, they just fused together into one unified consciousness. This entity, which the book calls God, now had a completely new power, the energy of a dream, which is really the ability to imagine something and then bring it into being. And this was the absolute pinnacle of that divine dream. After creating the earth, God's thought culminated in man. According to this story, the first human wasn't just living on the earth, he was the earth. He was basically a miniature version of the whole universe. Every single energy that existed out there was packed inside him, including a little spark of the creator itself. Now, to make this massive concept a little easier to wrap your head around, Anastasia uses a really simple analogy, a cedar nut. That tiny little kernel contains the complete blueprint for the gigantic, majestic tree it's going to become. She argues that in the exact same way, every single one of us holds the complete blueprint, the full creative power of the entire universe right inside of us. Okay, so this all sounds pretty perfect, right? A paradise where humans are these all-powerful co-creators. So, what happened? I mean, if that's true, why is the world the way it is today? Right, and this is the big question, the central paradox of the whole thing. If we were designed to be these amazing co-creators, why is there so much suffering and destruction? And Vladimir, the author, he asks her this exact question, and her answer, well, it's the key to everything else in the book. And you know what? Her answer is surprisingly simple. She says our fall from grace wasn't about some forbidden fruit. It was a shift in our minds. We just stopped creating and got totally obsessed with analyzing, with trying to figure out how God's creation worked, instead of just continuing the work ourselves.
She uses this fantastic analogy to explain it. Imagine this. You're driving your car to some beautiful destination, but halfway there, your curiosity just gets the better of you. You pull over, you pop the hood, and you start taking the engine apart, just to see how it works. And right there, in that moment, your journey is over. You've traded forward progress for analysis, and you've completely forgotten about the destination.
And it's this shift from creating to just analyzing that she says gave birth to something she calls destructive thinking. It's this mindset that's all about proving how smart it is by taking things apart, deconstructing them, and, well, ultimately destroying the whole thing instead of building it up. So how do we get back on track? Anastasia reveals that the key lies in rediscovering a lost ability, something she calls a secret science. She calls it the science of imagery, and you can kind of think of it like humanity's original operating system. right? Before we got bogged down in slow, linear words, we thought in these holistic, powerful images. The idea is that by creating a clear, detailed image in your mind and pouring real feeling into it, you could actually manifest that image into reality. That, she says, was a real, forgotten power.
So to give an example of this in action, she tells this story about one of her ancestors from thousands of years ago. This guy wasn't a king or a warrior, he was a poet. And his songs were so incredibly powerful that they created these vivid, living images in people's minds, uniting these warring tribes and inspiring them to build a whole new, harmonious society, which she claims was the original foundation of ancient Egypt.
But of course, a group of priests saw this power, and they wanted it for themselves. They didn't want to create with it, they wanted to control with it. They demanded he reveal his secret, and they basically threatened him. Either you tell us your secret, or you're getting locked in this tower forever.
And this right here is a huge turning point in her story. The priests took this science, but they couldn't really control its creative spirit. So to hide its true power from everyone else, they allegedly shattered it. They broke it down into all the separate sciences we have today: astronomy, math, physics. The idea was, by keeping all this knowledge in separate little boxes, they made sure nobody could ever see the whole picture again and reclaim that original power.
So what you're seeing here are the two paths that really split off at that point. On one side, you've got the forefathers' way, using creative imagery to inspire and bring people together. And on the other side, the priest's way, using those same images to control and manipulate people. One path leads to joyful co-creation, and the other, well, it leads to power structures built on secrets and fear.
But here's where it gets really interesting. Anastasia's most startling claim is that this science of imagery, it never actually went away. It's still being used all around us, every single day, often without us even having a clue. She points directly at modern politics and advertising. I mean, think about it. When you vote for a candidate, are you really voting for the person, or are you voting for the powerful image that's been so carefully crafted for you? She argues that these huge cultural ideas, like the American dream, are just really powerful images that shape our entire society, and that wars often begin when two of these powerful national images clash with each other. And this all brings us to the final and maybe the most crucial point of all. Whether you take Anastasia's story as literal fact or as a powerful metaphor, it doesn't really matter. Because either way, it forces us to look at the incredible power of our own imagination. The book really leaves us with one vital question for each of us to answer. What reality are your thoughts creating?